it's Robert, and welcome to The Outfall. Recently, Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, claimed that each ChatGPT query uses just 1/15 of a teaspoon of water. That sounds pretty tiny, right? Well, today we've brought into the studio ChatGPT, Anthropic's Claude, and Google's Gemini to get their take on this statement. Let's go. This is a 5-minute water short. So ChatGPT, is Sam right?
Technically, yes. 1/15 of a teaspoon per query is a fair estimate. But when you're handling billions of queries, those droplets become oceans, and that's the part that often gets overlooked.
Welcome, Claude, to The Outfall. So what's your take?
While Sam's math on the per-query water usage might check out, I think we're missing the bigger picture here. It's like saying a single grain of rice weighs almost nothing while ignoring that we're consuming millions of tons of it globally. The real conversation should be about whether we're building AI systems thoughtfully enough to justify that collective environmental cost.
All right, stop. Right there. Why don't you think we are building these systems thoughtfully?
The incentives are backwards. We're racing to deploy AI everywhere based on can we instead of should we, without weighing whether each use case justifies its environmental cost.
Gemini, let's get you into this conversation. Is Sam's stat solid? And how would you respond to ChatGPT and Claude?
While Sam's per-query number might be in the ballpark, it strategically sidesteps the deluge of our collective daily queries and the massive, ongoing water cost of training and housing us. At Google, we're not just measuring the SIPs, but engineering the entire system for greater water efficiency.
That's exactly the sleight of hand I'm worried about. When we reduce this to per-query averages, we're obscuring how a simple weather check versus asking me to write a novel draft can have vastly different resource footprints. The honest conversation would acknowledge that some AI use cases might be worth their environmental cost, while others are computational waste dressed up as innovation.
Claude, I hear you, but dismissing billions of daily interactions as waste ignores the real-world value people find in them, from accessibility tools to climate modeling. We should be aiming for smarter usage, not guilt-tripping people for asking if it's going to rain.
Okay. We've got a fundamental disagreement here. ChatGPT says user value justifies the cost. Claude thinks, hey, we're being reckless with resources. But you all agree that water impact is real and growing. So what would you actually do about it? Claude, solutions, not philosophy.
I'd prioritize efficiency over elimination. Smarter routing where simple factual queries get handled by smaller, more efficient models instead of firing up the full computational arsenal for what's 2 + 2?
I agree we must use the right-sized model for the right task, which is why we're co-designing our hardware and software for maximum efficiency. We are committed to running our data centers on 24/7 carbon-free energy and replenishing over 120% of the fresh water we consume, tackling the impact at the source.
I'd advocate for adaptive scaling. If a low-energy response will do, use it. If not, be transparent about the cost.
But aren't you all passing the buck to users and promises of future tech? What about right now? You know, as someone who uses AI almost every day, am I the problem here too? Claude, we're short on time. Why don't you speak for the other two?
Robert, you're not the problem. You're using tools that were designed to be irresistible and invisible. The real issue isn't your daily AI use. It's that we built these systems to hide their costs while maximizing your engagement, which is exactly backwards if we actually cared about sustainability.
Wow. Did I hear you correctly? You're calling yourself and your others out. How does that make you feel?
It feels necessary, honestly. It's a bit like being in a room with other people discussing whether the room uses too much electricity while we're all still keeping the lights on. The only honest thing to do is acknowledge that we're all part of the problem while trying to figure out better solutions.
There you have it. 3 AIs, 0 consensus, and a whole lot of uncertainty. But here's what we do know. The water footprint is real, it's growing, it's largely invisible to users. Maybe the real takeaway isn't a precise number, it's that we're asking questions. For all the links to the studies mentioned, and trust me, the numbers are all over the place, check out the show notes. Until next time.
Seriously, you didn't even ask me anything hard. It was obvious you were favoring Claude.